Ahoy there, and welcome to Nautical Tales and Nature Trails, recreation in southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island. I'm your host, Will Morrissey. My wife is the producer of the show. She's behind the cameras. She's also a realtor that races up and down the coast from Old Lyme, Connecticut to Charlestown, Rhode Island. She zigzags from Mystic to Mashantucket to Uncasville. She's all over the back roads of southeastern Connecticut and southern Rhode Island because she hates driving on I-95. But can you blame her? But doing that, she knows where all the attractions are in the area, and she comes across a whole bunch of them. And we know that a lot of people are moving into the area, whether they're building submarines or the brave souls that are driving the submarines. We got students at UConn at Avery Point, Mitchell College, Connecticut College, the cadets at the United States Coast Guard Academy. Got all kinds of people coming into the area. So we wrote a book letting you know what all these attractions are that Bridget has come across over the years. And today we're going to be right here in Mystic. We're going to see Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center, and we've got Kim Hargrave with us. Hi, Kim.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, very good. Very excited. Look at this. We've got live performances today.
That's right. This is Solstice. Solstice is one of the Nature Center's resident birds of prey, and he is a broadwing hawk. So these guys are a migratory hawk, and they only spend the summers up in Connecticut. So they're migrating back right now, getting ready to feast on mice and small birds in the middle of our forest. They love really big forested areas. That's where you find these guys. So unfortunately for this one, he had an encounter with a car a couple years ago and had a wing injury and was brought into another rehabilitator who was able to fix the wing, but not well enough for release. And so that means he needed a permanent home. And so they gave us a call, and we were able to take Solstice in at the Nature Center. And so we've had him now for about 3 years. We got him on the Solstice. That's why he is named that.
I was just going to ask you that.
Yep, so that's how this guy got his name. But you can see those really sharp talons, if I kind of lift him up right there, and that curved hooked beak. And that's what he's going to use to catch his prey and then to put it into bite-sized pieces right there. So one of our smaller hawks in the area.
Well, you gave me a great tour last week.
Yeah.
And I got to see a lot of the live birds you have. And you said you got close to a dozen hawks?
Yeah, we've got about a dozen hawks and then about another 10 or so owls. So we've got just over 20 birds of prey at the Nature Center that you can go and visit with and see. So.
Now they've got these nice big cages that that they're in, and with a roof over their head, so they're not going to get.
That's right. Yep. And then
are they out there all year long?
They are all out there all year long. Most of the birds being native to the area are used to our winters, and even our migratory birds, like this broadwing hawk here, can handle the colder winter. We do put special heat panels in their enclosures if they get a little chilly, so they can get out of the wind. And they expect to have special heat pads for their mice so that every day they get fed mice, and that way their food stays nice and warm for them as well.
Well, some of these birds know that they're on the red carpet and getting their picture taken, and some, no, I'm not going to pay attention to you.
Yeah, he's looking at me today.
No, but during the tour, it was funny watching the birds, the ones that would come up to you, and then, the other ones that could care less if you were there or not.
That's right. They all have distinct personalities. Some prefer, they really enjoy working and coming out on glove and seeing what's going around, and the other ones that are just going to give you that look like, just give me my mice and move on.
Well, you know what? We have a video of the friends of this guy, but they're not live like this one. But why don't we run the video of all the animals that you have?
That sounds great.
So you got some four-legged friends there.
Yes, we do. So at the Nature Center, we have a wide variety of creatures, a lot of stuffed taxidermy species as well, so you can get a really good look at the biodiversity of southeastern Connecticut. So we were just looking at flying squirrels, and there's the bobcat right there. Bobcat numbers are increasing around Connecticut. The nice coyote right there. We have very healthy coyote populations in the area, helping to control our predators as well, or our prey animals as well. This is the bobcat, another bobcat right here. We have 2 foxes in Connecticut. This is the gray fox. Most people are familiar with the red fox, so it's kind of neat to mix it up. Oh, also in our wetlands exhibit, we have this great raccoon right there, kind of going into the water.
It's going for lunch, huh?
Yeah, this is the red fox right here. You can see that redder fur on the outside. And fishers. So this is a member of the weasel family that loves to prey upon squirrels and porcupines. Oh, black bears. Yep, we definitely have an increasing black bear population in Connecticut. Lots of deer in the area. The male deer have lost their antlers right now for the summer. And it's really important to know that if you ever find an injured animal, to give the Nature Center a call and we can help you out with that. So maybe we can't take the animal in, but if we can't take it in, we can actually refer you to the right people. So we do a lot of rehabilitation with birds of prey, like our hawk that we just saw, but if it's something like a bunny or a squirrel, you still call us, and then we're going to hook you up with a local rehabilitator who specializes in those types of things. So possums, squirrels, rabbits, all of that stuff.
And all of that's on your website.
That's all on our website. So, our phone number's there. You can also do a quick Facebook message. However, it's easiest for you to get in touch with us. And if you leave a message, we'll give you a call back as soon as we can. So.
Okay. Well, you just showed us one of your hawks.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how many birds you have on display inside the Nature Center.
Yeah, we have an incredible selection of birds. And what happened was in the 1890s, these birds were collected. People didn't think much about collecting birds back in the 1800s. It just seemed like there were so many of them. And they are part of the Bill Gordon collection. So if you're familiar with our local history, you might be familiar with like the Bill Memorial Libraries. Mm-hmm. And so he had collected all these birds. They were all in the Bill Memorial Library up by the Fort Griswold. Fort Griswold, yeah, Fort Griswold right up there. And in the year 2000, the library decided they weren't being appreciated where they were, and so they're on permanent loan to the Nature Center. And they are just amazing. They're an amazing collection. Most of them have their original tags from, the turn of that century, and you can really get a good look at all these birds.
It's almost, it's not calligraphy, but you can tell that it was before computers.
It absolutely was before computers. The other interesting thing is some of those birds are changing their names now, and so we're starting to kind of update those tags. We'll put like a new tag next to it because we want the original to stay there, and then we put the new name.
What, are they getting married?
No, it's just an interesting thing as time goes on. Things like a bird that used to be called the sparrowhawk is now called the kestrel because sparrowhawks, well, they weren't really hawks. They are in the falcon family, so they wanted more accurate names.
Oh, okay. Well, we have the kestrel in the next video. Why don't we run that one about the birds?
That sounds great.
Now, this is coming in off the road.
Yep, on Pequotsepos Road. So we have 2 entrances, one on Pequotsepos and one on Greenmanville Avenue.
So this is coming into the Nature Center.
That's right. So our trails are open daily, dawn to dusk, every day, even if the building is closed. We have over 10 miles worth of trails to go hiking on, connecting into lots of different properties. We always try to have a sign up with like things to look for at certain times of year.
Now this is inside.
Yep, this is inside the building. You come right in and you're on the 2nd story, so you're at the top of our red maple tree there.
You have a tree inside.
It's really great. And we have some fun interactive activities for kids to see and things for them to touch. So this is actually a picture of our downstairs meadow exhibit right there. So all those drawers have fun things in it. There's little doors to open, just for people to see what's hiding inside of everything. We have upstairs, we also talk about our woodland exhibits, so different types of animals we have there. Lots of turtles at the Nature Center.
Yeah, that was fun the other day.
Yes.
They came racing, you see them racing up there, they thought I had food for them.
These are the terrapins, and the terrapins have the best personalities. They're just so curious about everything. That was a wood turtle right there. Both of those turtles were species of special concern in Connecticut. Painted turtles. We have an awesome painted turtle exhibit. You can see that
really
window. You can look them from underneath. Spotted turtles, unfortunately, another species of special concern. The eastern box turtle right here. Another one that we're worried about its population numbers. Oh, and there I am showing you the wingspan of different kinds of birds here. And these are examples of some of the taxidermy birds we have from that Bill Gordon collection, everything from an immature and an adult bald eagle to owls and hawks, ducks, a raven right up there. So lots of great taxidermy animals. So if you ever want a close-up study of some of these birds, we have people who come in and will just sit and draw all of these different birds in their nature journals and things like that. So a lot of people don't realize how many ducks we have in Connecticut either. You know, they think of mallards and that's it. These are all the herons that we have here, night herons and bitterns. And this is just a small sampling of the songbirds. So our warblers and sparrows, thrushes, grackles right there. So really, really incredible different woodpecker species that you can see. And these are all from the late 1800s, which is just amazing to think about.
Yeah. They got to be over 125 years old.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And those little yellow tags that you're seeing are those original tags that we were talking about. And you can see some of those white tags that we've had to add on through the years. But, oh, and this is outside. This is one of my favorite spots at the Nature Center. It's our tree house. You can go up and sit there. And
you pointed out the island to me on this
I
one.
know. This is the pond at the Nature Center, and we've got mom and dad goose hanging out there right now, and usually another couple weeks we'll have goslings at the pond, and they come just every year. So, oh, look at that great picture of the kestrel.
Yeah.
So that's Sandy right there. She's one of our kestrels at the Nature Center. So we have a really incredible display with 3 live kestrels in them, and they're just really great to see. Different kinds of red-shouldered hawks right here that you can also see at the Nature Center. Peregrine falcons as well. We have 2 at the moment. Let's see, one of our hawks right in there. That is George, the red-tailed hawk. And then you can also see some of those taxidermied birds inside, so you can get a more detailed look at all of the different feathers that they have.
That was quite the tour that you gave me the other day.
Yeah, there's so many great things at the Nature Center. It's kind of one of those things you can come in, you can see one thing, and you come back.
This guy was saying hi.
Oh, yes. This is
he was waving.
Pepper. So we have 2 songbirds that are live at the moment, both imprinted birds, which means they were raised by people. And then
well, here's your snakeskin, too.
Oh, that's right, the snakeskin. So one of our snakes, Pumpkin, that is how long she is. I'm only 5'4" to get that in perspective to how big that snake is. So rat snakes can grow to be over 6 feet long. So really large snakes that we have.
Well, if you're looking for information about Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center, dpnc.org. I mean, it's quite the website. But, you know, go to the I want to call it a museum almost.
Yes, we like to think of it as a museum.
You know, the Nature Center has all kinds of things. I mean, I had fun taking the tour the other day. What is your big season? Is it more when the kids are out of school, or is it, you know, do you have classes that you go to the classes?
Yep, so we do programs year round. And so our most popular season is springtime, when we have all the school field trips coming into the Nature Center, and then that leads right into summer camp. And then from there, it seems a little bit quieter, but it's really not, because in the fall, it's just such a beautiful time to be out. So we're leading lots of hikes. We do our big mushroom festival, spooky nature trail, all of these things. We also have a year-round school year-based preschool at the Nature Center, a before and after school program for kids whose parents can't quite meet them right off the bus, so they get to come to the Nature Center and play outside until their parents can come and get them after school. And again, year-round program. So pretty much every weekend there's something coming up at the Nature Center. If it's Earth Weekend, lots of things going on. But always look at our website. Hikes to places like Gunjiwamp here in Connecticut, and hikes just exploring other local areas. Sometimes people, they want to be outside, but if they haven't been to one of those spots before, they're a little nervous to do that hike for the first time. So, we do guided hikes, and you can check it out and then decide if that's someplace you could hike on your own in the future.
Well, last year you were leaving this show, and that upcoming weekend you were doing Bluff Point.
Yep.
and you have quite a few people sign up and go for these walks. And
Yes, absolutely.
they seem to really enjoy it and tell their friends that,
Yep.
oh, have you been to Bluff Point? Well, I've been there,
Yep.
But you provide that opportunity for them.
Yep, and we also work with a lot of the local land conservancy. So like Avalonia Land Conservancy is one of the ones, Groton Open Space Association, and we'll lead hikes on their properties as well, because we are so fortunate here in Connecticut to have all of these small parcels of protected land, and a lot of them have trails on them, and they're open to the public so that you can go out and check them out yourself. But we will often lead a hike on there so that you kind of get a good idea of the lay of the land, and then you can go out and do it yourself and things like that.
Well, we have good friends, Mark and Susan Hibbard, that are with the Avalonia Land Conservancy.
Yep.
And they set up Dennis, Maine to come and do a show last year.
Oh, excellent.
So you mentioned them, and we also had Joan Smith
Yep.
from the Groton Open Space Association.
Yep.
And she was talking about all the different parks that are in Groton. I mean, there's a lot of different places to go.
It is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite things that we did this school year was we did a program with one of our local schools where the kids just really got out in the woods to build survival shelters. And so, but busing can be a limiting factor for students and field trips and getting them out in nature. And so we actually were able to walk over to a Groton Open Space Association property that was, not even a quarter of a mile down the road from their school, and get the kids out in the woods and building
nice.
shelters in there, and it was really fun.
Yeah, they have a big mountain laurel festival at one of their, and then they have so many different places that you can go take a hike.
Yes, absolutely.
And they have, not just in Groton, I mean, I believe Avalonia has got places up in Basra, Norwich.
Absolutely,
Ledyard,
through Ledyard, yep, absolutely.
All over the place.
All over the place. So yeah, really recommend checking those sites out and keeping an eye on our website for the programs that we have on those properties or just at the Nature Center. Like we saw that trail map earlier with the 10 miles worth of trails, and sometimes that can seem a little intimidating. And so a couple times a month we lead hikes on our trails as well to get you out to some of those further flung spots that are a little further from the Nature Center. But if you're ever just at the Nature Center and you're short on time, I recommend the Forest Loop, because it doesn't just take you to the forest. You're at the pond, you're over cool bridges. So if you're with kids, kids love to walk on boardwalks and bridges. And then you get out into the meadow, and then you go back into the woods, you cross the stream, and it's only like a half mile long. So it's like the perfect trail. You see everything that's really fun. And
well, you have so many different things going on. We've got a little video that'll kind of touch base really quickly, and then we can discuss it afterwards.
Sounds great.
So here we are at the Nature Center. And what do we got coming up here?
All right, yeah, so you can just check our website and see a lot of the programs that we've got going on, both public programs and then private programs. You have a scout group that wants to come, give us a call. Your school, we go into a lot of the local libraries as well and do programs all summer long. So we'd love to see people there for those. Membership is so important to us. So families join the Nature Center, and you can come into the building for free and get to know some of our turtles really well. People visit them all of the time. So it's a great thing.
Yeah, it's not just a 5-minute hit or miss thing. I mean, you're going to be there a while because you want to be.
Yep. Got our lots of wonderful volunteer opportunities, whether it's trail maintenance or working in our giving garden over at Coogan Farm, which we were talking earlier, should be like a whole nother episode of this show, just talking about our amazing giving garden. We've donated over 100,000 pounds of produce to the food insecure in our area through the Craig Floyd Giving Garden. So there's lots of ways to support us, but one of the biggest ways is just coming and visiting the Nature Center and being a member. You can subscribe to our e-newsletter, which is called The Chickadee, and that dates back to the beginnings of the Nature Center. We've always called it The Chickadee, and that tells you all of the programs. We have lots of information on our website about what to do when you find those injured animals. And we have a big fundraiser coming up that we're super excited about. It's called our Woodland Ramble, and it's May 31st. You can sign up online. You can also get together some friends to raise money for the Nature Center, and you get a t-shirt if you raise $100 or more. Lots of fun birthday parties. So if you're looking for somewhere unique to do a party, the Nature Center is a great place for it. Oh, the meditation walking path too. We have something for everybody, you know, from busy birthday parties to peaceful times out in nature. And a lot of people don't realize the Nature Center oversees the Peace Sanctuary on River Road, and it has a beautiful overlook right over the Mystic River. And we do hikes there at least once a month. My favorite one to do there, though, is the full moon hikes. So if you hit the full moon hikes at the Peace Sanctuary, you can actually watch the moon rise. We stand on an overlook. The moon rises over our Coogan farm property across the Mystic River. So you're looking out at the river, it's shimmering, and then up comes the moon over Coogan Farm, and it's just incredible. So
Yeah, if it's a full moon, it's amazing how much light it throws.
it is, and I just
You know,
love
I mean,
watching
you get
it.
shadows.
Yeah, and watching it like reflect into the river is really cool. And that view gives you also a view of the Mystic Seaport, and so you see the moon coming up, and the seaports, the tall ships. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, you mentioned when we were going through that last video, it had something to do with the Coogan Farm.
Yes.
You know, what is that all about?
So what happened was in 2013, the Nature Center purchased the Coogan Farm property, and that was an additional 35 acres. So the property that the Nature Center is currently on, we lease from the Denison Homestead. They're so generous; it's $1 a year collaborative relationship with them. And then when this property went up for sale, that's adjacent to the Denison Homestead's property, we didn't want to see that land developed. It was the last piece of land on the Mystic River that didn't have development on it. And the Coogans, the people who own the property, didn't want to see it developed either. They still had 2 cows on the property and all these beautiful old fields. And, you know, as important as tourism is, we didn't want to see another hotel right up there. And so with generous support from the entire community, we were able to raise the money to not only buy the property, but restore the buildings that were there. And so that is where our before and after school program is. Our preschool is located there. We have incredible places to hike up there that connects into everything. And we have this property with the Giving Garden on it. And our farm manager there, she works with the United Way of Connecticut and the Jim Moran food pantries, and they find out what kind of food people need in our area, and fresh produce is so important. And so we grow healthy, nutritious, fresh produce that people are looking for. So this time of year, it's mostly greens and things like that, but it'll be strawberries and fruits and carrots and garlic and celery and even herbs and things like that. And I think it's incredible. One year we had just 600 pounds of herbs. And you think about that. Think about how small a basil leaf is to get 600 pounds of these herbs going out to people who are food insecure in our area.
Now, can you buy any of that at the farmer's market at the Denison?
Nope, it's all donated.
All donated?
All
Oh,
donated.
okay.
All of that food is actually donated and, like I said, distributed through that mobile food pantry. So it's in different communities. Different weeks. So some weeks it'll be in Stonington or Groton or New London or way out to Salem, everywhere in eastern Connecticut.
All right, so you said you were looking for volunteers, but
Yeah.
what kind of volunteers are you talking about? I mean,
We need usually a wide variety of volunteers. The garden is always looking for volunteers. So if you like to garden, but maybe you don't have a place that you can garden anymore, come to the Nature Center, and we're looking for people to do everything from planting to weeding to, you know, putting down bed amendments, you know, different types of compost, things like that. We always have jobs there that we're looking for people. But if that's not your cup of tea, then we have trail maintenance volunteers. We also have people who work with our animals. So that hawk that you saw earlier, we have people who go into those enclosures every single day and feed the animals and things like that.
how about getting the food over to Gemma Moran, or do they pick it up?
So they actually come and pick it up, but Tuesday mornings is harvest morning, and we need people to help put it in the truck because it's heavy.
Okay. So what time is that?
They usually start around, it's early, they usually start around 7 or 8 a.m. in the morning on Tuesdays.
Okay.
And then from there, they load up the truck all morning long. And because everything has to be, you know, not fresh, it has to be picked and it has to be packaged so that it can actually go out. You just, you know, you don't want to just have a piece of lettuce here and there. You have everything has to be packaged appropriately and things like that. And it takes time. So that's a really important thing. And we have signups that you can do. If you go to our website, you can see that at the volunteer section of our website. You'll be able to see that.
Okay. Well, we had another image besides that. That's your big fundraiser coming up.
Yeah.
the walk.
Yeah, the Woodland Ramble. It's so fun. We have a lot of community support from local businesses. And then what we want is lots of people to come and do the walk. And don't be scared. It's a 3-mile walk, but if that's not your cup of tea, you can actually, make it shorter, whatever you are comfortable doing. And what we encourage people to do is to sign up and then sign up your family members and make it just kind of a fun morning out, hitting the trails at the Nature Center. And you can also fundraise. And if you fundraise more than $100, you get one of our special Woodland Ramble t-shirts and things like that.
So how much is it to just sign up for yourself and how much for a family?
I think it's $25 for yourself, and children are, don't miss, $5 to $10 somewhere in there. So it's definitely worth coming out.
If you raise $100 by having 4 adults show up, I mean, somebody gets a t-shirt?
It's pretty good deal.
Oh.
So yeah, so you can find more information about that there. You can also get to meet some of the animals that we have at the Nature Center. We'll have them out for it, so you can meet some of the hawks. And
where does the ramble start? Is that at the Nature Center?
So this one's actually at Coogan Farm.
Okay.
So it's at our Coogan Farm location.
Because that connects all the way behind everything and
Yep.
to the Denison Homestead, and then there's
across the street
crosswalk, and
Yep.
you're at the Nature Center.
Yep. So you can for the Woodland Ramble itself, we kind of keep you all on one side of the road, but you can also start at the Nature Center and hike over to Coogan Farm if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
So,
I mean, that's how long a hike is that?
So directly from Coogan Farm to the Nature Center is just about a mile. So if I am like booking it, I could do it in 20 minutes. But if I'm leading a group, we're stopping and talking at everything. It takes 45 minutes or so.
So that's another thing, you're looking for volunteers to lead these little groups to talk to people?
Sometimes we're looking for people we're always looking for docents and things like that. We have a team of educators at the Nature Center who do a lot of our programming, but we're always looking for extra hands.
Okay.
Yep, and we'll need volunteers for the Ramble as well.
Wow, that's, like I said, when Kim gave me the tour last week, I was amazed at what was inside, and to see that 6-foot-long snake skin, I was like, you collect all kinds of things, but Kim knows all the pets' names. She's walking around, and I got Solstice here. Even Michael, our producer here, he was one about Willow the owl from last year.
Yep. So all of our animals get names when they come in. Once we decide that they're going to be a permanent resident at the Nature Center, we give them names, and we kind of follow different things. So a lot of our snakes at the Nature Center, we want to make the snakes be friendly, so we give them really friendly names. Like right now, we've been on a candy kick, so we've got Licorice and Snickers and Coco. And then our birds, kind of depends. Sometimes we name them after Latin names that they have, or sometimes, like Solstice came in on the solstice. And so when we got our next broadwing hawk in, we decided we'd even that out, and so we have Solstice and Equinox right now for them.
There you go.
So yeah, and all the turtles get names, and yeah, it keeps you on your toes. I will tell you, the hissing cockroaches do not have names.
They probably do have names, you just don't want to say them on TV. Well, geez, Kevin, thank you so much for coming in. I mean, is there anything special that you want to tell people? I guess number one would be your website.
Yes, please visit our website, dpnc.org. It'll have all the information that you need to find the Nature Center. But if you're having trouble with that, you can just call our main number, which is also on the website, but I can say it, 860-536-1216. And our front desk staff are always happy to answer any questions. Also, if you have an injured animal at this time of year, please give us a call. We can help you out with that. Or you found that baby bird that fell out of a nest and you're not sure what to do, please call us. We'll help you out with that, because a lot of times it is just put it right back in the nest.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Now, do you have to be a member to get the Chickadee, the newsletter?
No, you do not have to be a member to get our newsletter. You can sign up for that on our website as well. So you can see all of those things there. So you can find out what's going on just by looking at there, or at our social media. If you go onto our Facebook page, lots and lots of information on that. Plus just fun facts, We had winter fireflies out the other day, and so we did a little thing about them, so you can learn a little bit more about the nature that's right around us.
Well, thank you so much. This half hour goes by so quickly. make sure you get to the Denison Pequotsepos Nature Center, dpnc.org. Until next week, have a great day.